Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Rapier. Today's video is going to be about a flex position that is popular in the M3 world right now. Now, if you're not familiar with M3s, I'll be coming out with some more videos about running M3s. I think you should familiarize yourself with M3s because when the October update comes out, that'll probably be your best source to get the highest amount of umbral shards that you can get to upgrade your gear. So if you don't want to pay for M3 carries or M3 last boss runs for your umbral shards, you may want to stick around and check out some videos to help you out. Now, AGS did not do any of the new players favors when a tournament came out. They haven't done any updates since, about a year and a half or so ago with M3s and really PvE in general, because the Hive was supposed to come out last July, a year ago, or over a year ago now. So that is technically, it's just been over a year since any PvE content has really been putting out there. So it's been a lot of PvP, but with umbral shards coming in, the best way used to be M10s and M3s. So it probably will be once again, because it would be the hardest content in the game to do. I went over the main position for the main spear position in the last video. This will be the flex position, okay? And then I'll cover the third DPS option in another video. And then I'll cover the healer and the tank in another 2 videos. So this would be the flex spear. So enough yapping, bop. Let's get to it. So this would be like flex spear, okay? Well, what's a flex spear position? Well, right now, really popular. It used to be having a great sword in this position to switch to evade rapier on bosses, but the great sword is so slow now. It's really best to have 2 spears and then 1 bleed rapier, and have the second spearman switch over to evade rapier on the bosses. Now, what spear would you go with as a flex spearman? Well, the venom's always a good choice because you got bleeding sweep, but what makes this so good with the bleeding sweep is the trenchant strikes and the trenchant crits. The heavy melee attack, 31% critical damage, and then the heavy melee is 20% damage. That's a legal perk combo, and it is super nasty. On top of that, poison tipped heavy melee attacks with either weapon cause poison damage, dealing 15% damage for 5 seconds. When you do a sweep, the coup d'etat or coup de grace, that is a heavy attack, okay? When you do the sweep, this first ability is a strike, and then when you sweep down and you stab down, that would be the heavy, okay? Here, let me go ahead and do the sweep real quick with the stab down. That stab down is the heavy. In the skill tree, if you look right here, reactivate this ability to use basic attack during sweep to follow up with a heavy stab that deals 150% weapon damage. Well, this dot right here will also give you successful heavy attacks, reduce all spirit cooldowns, so it's going to help your cooldowns also. Deals 25% increased base damage against knockdown targets. And so what would the skill tree look like? Well, here's what I would go with. You could change, this dot up here if you decide something else may fit you. Maybe you want some stamina with leeching. But yes, there are 4 abilities here, because sometimes you switch from sweep to cyclone depending on which boss you're fighting. Last boss in Glacial Tarn, for instance, cyclone is just way better than the sweep because you get caught up in the air and those swipes might kill you. You might have a different spear that you want to run in case for that last boss you want to switch to cyclone, something that may do a little bit better damage than having the venom on you, because the venom is all about the bleed and sweep. But nevertheless, you go skewer all the way down the tree, bleed duration increases 15%. You do all these abilities to help your cooldowns quicker. This perforate, you do not go all the way down the tree like the main spearman because the rends will not stack. You just got to pick perforate here, so you at least add 15% rend on top of the other spearman's 30%. And then, one of y'all, usually the main spearman, will have Sundering Stacks. That's another 20%, and Void Blade 30%. So tank doesn't even need to worry about a hammer anymore in the M3s. And that's what's good with the whole Sundering Stacks change. And then you go bleed and sweep, and then you have cyclone for the purpose that I talked about earlier. And then offhand weapon, well, it can be a bunch of different things. The main spearman usually has a great axe, so the offhand can vary depending on your group and what they may want. So keep that option open and available. Make sure it lines up with what your stats need to be. In M3s, normally in every dungeon, you're going to be running 350 strength on the spear. You're going to be running 25 int, and with the flex position, 25 focus and 25 strength. You're also going to spec into for the flex position here, because when you go to the evade rapier, you need to have the 25 strength, 25 focus, and then everything else will match up, as I'll show you. Now, when we get to a boss, what are we going to do? You want to make sure you have your correct amulet. So let's say we're going to the first boss in Glacial Tarn. I have a strike protection amulet on with a ice gem, so I still have some ice protection, but it's enough to make sure I don't get one shot by the turnaround slap he does. Okay, now don't pay attention to this gem because I just didn't want to replace it. It should be all ice here for M3 Frenzy this week. Normally, if you don't have Frenzy or any dots in your back, you can get away with 2 open spots here in your clothing to add, you know, punishing carnelians or whatever you fancy. But with Frenzy, having dots on your backs every time you dodge, then you need to just have full ice protection. So when you switch to a different amulet on the bosses, strike on the first boss, slash on the last boss, you are still protected at like I think it's 41% or 46%. With one more ice gem in there, it'd be right at what, 48%. So you're almost right at cap. And then you still have the 17.4 strike protection, which will help you not get one shot. So what you would do is switch to your boss set here. As you're going to the boss, you would flip simply or magnify, and boom, you are ready to go full evade. It's that simple. Okay, you would switch your magnify back to strength when you go out of the boss fights to the next part of the dungeon. Okay, that's how that position works. So that's pretty cool right there. Make sure you have the correct pieces to help you get those stats to line up. Now I have a 700 piece here, Enchanted Ward, Omni Evade, and Fire Harnessing. This actually dropped in a dungeon last week, which was pretty crazy because very rarely do you get Omni Directional Evade to drop, let alone Enchanted Ward, and then Fire Harnessing on top, 700 and Dex. Like, oh my god, I got lucky. This would be the stat you would go with for the flex position at the boss fight, and then the, of course, traditional Evade Rapier setup. You can vary it if you feel the need to. And then your offhand weapon can be, you know, fire staff, bow, whatever you fancy. I like the bow, kind of have enfeebling poison shot, and that way I can just hit the boss quickly with the enfeebling poison shot, rain of arrows, and hey, he's weakened. He's doing nature damage, doing bleed damage with the rain of arrows, and I can get right back to doing my melee stuff. Okay, so that is what the flex position is. So when you get into the higher levels of M3 running, you're going to be required or asked to do things like this. So if you want to be at that level and be a in-game DPS, it's not as easy as, hey, I just main spear. Well, you need to be more versatile because you are in the easiest position. You don't want to tank, you don't want to heal, that's fine, but you need to be very versatile. As DPS, I can go boom right into a spear loadout, right into a rapier loadout. If I sign up for another lobby and wants me to be bleed, boom, okay, I can adjust my set. If they need me to, you know, whatever it is, I can adjust. I have the gear on me, I'm ready to go. Don't come in here half stepping, just think you just want to be bow player and that's it. Okay, that's not teamwork, that's an individual thing. M3s are about teamwork, team composition, and unity. Okay, so you need to work together and you need to have the right builds to help support and complement each other, and that's what you should be excited for going into M3s. It is very difficult. People ask me, why do you run M3s? What's the point? The loot sucks. I know that, but for us veteran players that were still running threes constantly, one, how fast can we do it? Speed runs. Two, how fast can we score runs? So speed score runs. And then three, it's just the simple enjoyment and the camaraderie of the other teammates, and we're figuring out things on the fly because stuff happens, and that's just the fun of it. Now, when M3s hopefully become more popular in October, you might want to start running those to get your umbral shards, because they used to be a lot in the M10s, but now M3s, it used to be 6,000 umbral shards you would get per gold M3. Okay, that's huge, because if you compare that to like an M1 gold, I think there was only like 1,000, maybe 2. Woo, that's a big difference. Okay, if you want to start learning some M3s, feel free to let me know in the comments. Let me know if your group's running them, if you need any help with group composition or gear or anything like that. You can always hit me up in my community Discord. I'm usually up and down all sorts of hours of the day and night, so my sleep schedule just varies day to day. So feel free to hit me up with a message anytime, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. All right, I'm Bebop. I'm here to help. So feel free to hit me up. If you like this video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out some other videos on my channel, and check out my stream on Twitch. So I'll see y'all later. All the links are in the description. Have a good day or night. Later. much. B would good luck for the run. Thank you, thank you. What's up, Dark Wave? R2, I didn't hear about where your brother went. Damn, we missed one gatherable. What did we miss?